Have you ever reached the end of the month and wondering where all your money went? Maybe you had a solid plan at the start, but in the end, you're left with nothing but regrets and instant noodles. If you are a college student, there is a good chance that you are making at least one of these financial mistakes. And you're not alone. Millions of students worldwide face the same struggle. So, in this video, I will tell you the 7 financial mistakes keeping college students broke, its consequences, and a few simple ways to fix it. Let's dive in. So, one is E over I, or expenses over income. So, mistake number one is pretty straightforward, and it's spending more than you earn. Imagine this: you get your monthly allowance, or your paycheck, or your scholarship, and within 2 weeks, it's gone. Rent, food, a few night out with friends, you bought a few things for yourself, and suddenly you're surviving on instant noodles until your next payday. So, according to kidsmoney.org, approximately 84% of college students have credit cards with an average debt of 3,100 US dollars. That financial stress can really mess with you. And the reason this happens is because we don't have a budget. When we don't have a budget, what happens? Living paycheck to paycheck increases financial stress. That in turn can make it harder for students to focus on our studies, thereby leading to anxiety and poor decision making. It's like a domino effect. When one starts to fall, everything falls apart. And here are a few simple ways to fix that. First, track your income and expenses using budgeting apps like Wallet, YNAB, or a simple spreadsheet. Or you can just use pen and paper. It's as simple as that. And secondly, is to prioritize needs over wants. Whatever the situation, needs should always supersede wants. This way, we can cut the unnecessary spendings. The third and the most important thing is to find ways to increase your income. It can be side gigs, tutoring, part time jobs, or just any kind of work in general that can help you increase your income. And that brings us to mistake number two, which is kind of connected to the first one: lack of budgeting. So, if I ask you right now how much money you spent last month, could you answer? If not, you're not the only one. But that's what exactly budgeting is all about. So, in 2024, a study found that 80% of undergrads report that financial stress negatively impacts their mental health, and 57% are choosing between college expenses and basic needs. But the thing is, budgeting for a lot of people can be really new and overwhelming. Like, where do you even start? Use the 60-20-10 rule. And I admit it's unlike any financial advice you've heard because we are students. So, 60% of needs includes rent, food, and your bills. 20% goes to your wants, which can be entertainment, shopping, or any kind of leisure activities you want. And 10%, if possible, goes to savings or investments. But the thing is, we as students barely earn enough just to support ourselves, right? So you necessarily do not have to follow this, but find something in way you can save something for the next month. That's the most important thing. And second thing is to set a monthly or weekly budget and sticking to it. You don't have to necessarily do this every time, but do it for at least 2 to 3 months so that you can find an average of your expenses. And the third point to keep in mind is to regularly review your spending and adjust accordingly. Now let's talk about a mistake I think a lot of people overlook: ignoring student discounts and free resources. Did you know that on average, students can save up to $300 per year just by using student discounts? That's a lot of money, right? We're talking about serious savings just here. I know a lot of students, or let's say many students, spend a lot of money on books where they can rent or borrow or just use open source materials. I mean, why should you spend so much on things where you can get it for cheaper or for free? So, in order to do that, always ask, do you have student discounts? Many stores, services, and subscriptions have a lot of student discounts. Even YouTube Premium, it has student discounts. And beyond that, museums, parks, restaurants, hotels, a lot of them have student discounts. All you have to do is just ask. Use platforms like Unidays, Student Beans, and your university perks. You see, a lot of times our universities have partnerships and sponsorships from a lot of different companies and services. As an example, University of Milan can get us 30% discounts on bookings on Spot Home and Uniplaces. And just like that, a lot of our universities can get us student exclusive university perks. Always check out for that. And again, instead of buying books, you can borrow from your library or use open source materials, or Just ask your professor. Sometimes our professors have books in PDF copies. All you have to do is ask. They're really helpful. They're like a secret weapon for your wallet. So the next mistake is a sneaky one. Mistake number 4, not tracking small expenses. It's just a $5 coffee, right? No big deal. It feels harmless, right? And that's the problem. Expenses that can really add up over time. So let's do the math here. Each day, $5 coffee times 365. That's $1,825 a year. And that's a vacation to Rome, Paris, Barcelona, or a new laptop or a new camera, the one you always wanted. And the reason why we need to track the small frequent purchases is because they can accumulate over time. And this money could be going towards something useful like savings, paying your debt or your credit card bills, and even a vacation, as I mentioned earlier. So it's about making conscious choices like this and tracking them. And how do we fix this problem? It's very simple. Keep a spending diary for a week at least to see where your money really goes. Second is to set daily or weekly limits for spending on non-essentials. For example, just set a budget to spend only $20 a week on coffee or any kind of non-essentials. And third thing is to use cards for these small purchases, because when you use your card, maybe you might think twice before spending it. Now we will be speaking of unexpected expenses. Mistake number 5, not building an emergency fund. Imagine your laptop breaks 1 week before your exam and you have no money to fix it. That would be a nightmare. Without an emergency fund, that would be a major setback, both academically and financially. And it's really scary because, according to this survey, 49% of Americans have $500 or less in their savings account, and 36% reporting they have less than $100 saved up. And this is not just about the US, it's a trend throughout the globe. And that's a lot of people. They are basically super vulnerable to any kind of financial shock. And this financial shock can derail their studies and create a lot of stress. Yeah, it's like a chain reaction. So, in order to fix this, we should start small. Just start with $200 in your emergency fund, and then increase to 300, and then increase to 500. And the safest way is to have at least $1,000 in your emergency fund. And the next thing we can do is set up automatic transfers to our savings account, let's say at least $10 to $20 a week. And the savings will only add up over time and you will reach your point. And the third point is to use the emergency fund only for real emergencies, not for shopping, not for vacation. This is very important. So, mistake number 6, delaying financial education. What if I told you that understanding personal finance now can make you a millionaire in the future? I know it sounds kind of crazy and very far-fetched, but this is rooted in a very real concept and habits. And this is not fantasy, it's just math. But unfortunately, only 26% of young adults aged 18 to 21 in the UK receive financial education at school. Yeah, it's definitely a missed opportunity, because the earlier you start learning about money, the more wealth you can build over time due to compound interest. And getting financial literacy nowadays is very simple. We can just start by reading a few simple books like The Psychology of Money or I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. And there are a lot of free books out there. And even if you don't want to read, just go to YouTube and search. A lot of people have already covered all of these books and have given their key perspectives and learnings from it. And second thing is that we can follow finance YouTubers and follow their podcasts, and we can learn a lot of things there. And the next thing we should do is learn credit score, investing, scholarships, and student loans as soon as possible, because we should always look out for these free opportunities. And speaking of finding the right opportunities, if you are a student looking for scholarships or universities abroad, you need help crafting a standout CV, or you want expert feedback on your motivation letter, I offer personalized consulting services to get you ahead. All for a small fee, you can get expert help. All you have to do is visit my website in the description. There, click on Book Now, and you fill the Google Forms. All the information is embedded in there. I will take care of the rest because I have done this before. Now it's my turn to help you out. Now, mistake number 7, spending money you haven't earned yet. So, if I ask you, would you borrow $50 today if it meant paying $75 later? Probably not, right? But that's exactly what happens when we fall into the trap of debt without a plan. If you borrow that $50 today and you don't have a way to pay it back in time, you should not borrow that money. Approximately 25% of college students have over 1,000 in credit card debt. Although that's not a lot of debt, but these things will only add up over time. And the easiest way to fix all of this is just by remembering this simple mantra. Only spend money you currently have, not what you expect to earn later. Second is to avoid unnecessary debt, especially credit cards and loans for non essentials. Remember, needs over wants. Build a habit of delayed gratification. And this is such an important point. When you have a habit of delayed gratification, you have the power to say no to impulse purchases. And when you say no to impulse purchases today, it can lead to more freedom and less stress down the road. Remember, just thinking about these small financial mistakes or decisions we make in college, such habits, good or bad, can eventually influence us in the future on how we approach money. And we are almost at the end of this video, so let's do a quick recap. First, we have that classic mistake of spending more than we earn, right? Which is where budgeting comes in. Remember that 60-20-10 rule we talked about. It's a very simple framework, but it's all about making something that works for you, and that can make a world of difference. And don't forget about mistake number 3, ignoring those student discounts. Always ask. You never know what you might find. 4 was tracking those little purchases, which can be a real eye opener. It can really make you aware of your spending habits. And speaking of surprises, life is full of them. So, mistake number 5 is not having an emergency fund. And mistake number 6 was delaying financial education. But remember, there are tons of resources available now to help you learn the basics and beyond, just even from YouTube. And finally, mistake number 7, spending money you haven't earned yet. But money is not the only thing we can grow as students. Here are 21 student growth tips you are probably ignoring. Feel free to check it out.